Hi guys, just coming back to look at some stuff real quick for you today. I cleaned out a bunch of duckweed yesterday. You can see there's some pretty large clumps of it on the ground, and I was looking into, I'm about to start composting. I was looking into composting, and apparently duckweed is really good compost. So when I came out today, I noticed all the duckweed was pretty much spread back out. I kind of grabbed some of it so it's knocked over. So it was actually even filled up more than this. Like the only spot that was not completely green on the top was just this, where that is, where the bubbles are going. So I'm probably going to start using duckweed as a compost. People say there's a lot of research on it online actually. It absorbs a lot of nitrogen and phosphates out of the water. So it stores nitrogen and phosphate. Since it's not like a fruit making or flower making, the flowers don't take up all, like lock it into the flower or anything like that. They just store it in there, and it's you get a lot of use out of it apparently. They were saying that duckweed by itself thrown into soil is comparable to like actual compost if you were to make like a full compost. So yeah, I'm gonna start gathering it up and taking it to the back, throwing it where my compost pile is about to be. I got a lot of it on the ground right here. But yeah, it's crazy that it just grew back instantly, and the roots on some of this stuff are huge. Let's see. Can't actually really see very good because they like to tangle up. There you go. The roots on those are huge, so they're really healthy. They should have some good nutrients in them for the garden. Other than that, ponds are doing pretty good, guys. Just like I said, just a short video. I just wanted to tell you guys about the duckweed. You can use it as a fertilizer. A lot of people think it's super invasive, but maybe if you had like an ecosystem already established or whatever you want to say, you might not want to do duckweed because it might mess with the plants that are already in there. But the research that I was reading last night actually, it made the same point that I've always thought. In this region around Illinois, there's a lot of like stagnant areas of water where there's no water movement. And when there's not a lot of water movement, big plants like these irises and stuff like this, they don't really want to grow under there. The water movement helps them get fertilizer and oxygen moved over them, or not necessarily oxygen, carbon dioxide is what plants want, oxygen, but air. Like the air in the water needs to be replaced, so it has to move. If it's not moving, it's just the same water with no CO2 in it sitting beside them all the time. So there does need to be like some kind of movement. So when there's not, what tends to happen is all the plants die, and algae starts to grow. Usually what we have here is like anaerobic algae a lot of times, like the algae that will grow without the aerobic, the air-ridden environment that plants want to grow in. And there are algae that'll grow in air too, of course, like in oxygen-rich environments too. But that is definitely a thing that I thought kind of needed to be talked about. A lot of people are just like, nope, duckweed's invasive. We don't like duckweed at all. But if you look around my region, there's a lot of ponds I see around that could benefit from duckweed. Because if you just threw duckweed in the top, you wouldn't even have to clean them out. You wouldn't even have to really do anything. You just throw, like, it's literally what I did to this. This thing was crazy with algae. I haven't done any algae cleaning today, and I bet the only basket that has a significant amount would be this one, and it doesn't even have a significant amount of algae. The duckweed just keeps, you know, the nutrients down. There's a little bit of algae in here, but the shrimp are up here eating it. I mean, it's not like, it's not so much that it's a problem. This will not, this much is not going to take you over, because the duckweed is keeping it shaded, keeping the nutrients down. And also it does aerate the water a little bit. A lot of people think that it doesn't help with aeration of the water at all, but actually what it's doing is pretty impressive. It's surface tension. A lot of aeration of water in, like, you know, when you don't have filtration, the water's got to get aerated some way. It doesn't always happen through a waterfall or, you know, rain or anything like that. Sometimes it's literally just this plant sitting on the surface. It moves back and forth in the wind or something, and that will create surface agitation or surface tension or whatever you want to call it, and it will put oxygen in the water. And the duckweed is actually doing it too. Now, once you get it to a point where it's like this taking over, you got to just scoop some out. But I mean, look at how easy this is. Okay, so what? 10 seconds of scooping duckweed out. I like to be pretty blatant with it because I don't want to catch the shrimp. Look, you got a nice handful of duckweed. Just gonna drop mine here, and then later I'll take it to the back for the compost pile. But yeah, maybe in the second handful here. Okay. And let me tell you, removing the duckweed is a hell of a lot easier than removing hair algae and string algae and stuff. They're really annoying. They don't, like, look, this, I just kind of like put my hand under some more and it just clumps up on there. See that? If you were trying to do this with hair algae, you are not getting big handfuls like this out, let me tell you. It just doesn't work that way. Look at all that. So that's essentially all that I just removed is waste that was inside my pond that I have very, very easily, you know, very little work to me, and it's clean. And look how it looks now. 3 big handfuls of duckweed out, and this duckweed will regrow, and in a couple days it'll be like fully covered. If you really didn't want it to fully cover again, then all you have to do is spend a little extra time one day and take out like 10 handfuls. Take out all of it except for maybe like, you know, 50 pieces or something like that, and then let it grow back from those 50 pieces, and it'll take a long time to grow back. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of research saying that this could actually be, you know, good in some regions. Like I said, you wouldn't want to like put it in Wren Lake because it's not just straight anaerobic algae growing in there. There's other plants growing in there, and those plants might get shaded out too much by the duckweed. But if you have a pond and you have all your stuff growing up near the surface, it works pretty good, I gotta say. I really like it. Everything seems to still be growing good. And also the water temperature. That's another thing. The water temperature will be noticeably cooler once you have the duckweed growing out all the way, because it's literally taking in the heat too when it's taking in that light. I mean, not all the heat. Some of it gets through, but like it's taking in more of the heat than it would if there was nothing there. So yeah, guys, duckweed is good, in my opinion. I just figured out you can use it for compost, so I'm going to be doing that, and apparently you can get really good results out of it. So I'll keep you guys posted on how it goes, how the compost pile goes. But yeah, if you guys are having some algae problems and you're not like, you know, there's merits to getting in and cleaning everything out by hand too. But there's also merits to not doing that, because there's like micronutrients and stuff that are in those leaves and in that stuff that's in there, the algae, all that stuff. The least amount that you can remove by hand is the best. Then it'll make these good plants grow, and you're not just throwing away a bunch of stuff. You're using it in these plants, and then you compost them, put them in the garden, and all those micronutrients get used up. I mean, this is how they do stuff in like a wastewater facility. So like this would filter out, you know, like waste, feces, and that kind of stuff too. If you had, you know, get a lot of plants growing, and they will absorb most of what's in the water, except for pretty much chlorine. Actually, that being said, plants need a very, very small amount of chlorine. Like, it's really harmful to them if you get over a certain amount, but if you're under a certain amount, they like the chlorine. It is a metal, so they need all types of minerals in micro amounts, or at least most type of minerals. But But yeah, guys, I think I'm about to have some new flowers come up on this guy. Its leaves are all breaking the surface now. Or not all, but a lot of leaves are breaking the surface now. I just basically wanted to talk about the duckweed today, guys, because I found out about that last night. And I just thought that was really cool, that you can use them to fertilize. So, I'm going to go ahead and get to town. I got to get a new battery for my car. And a bigger garden sprayer. Now, this is one thing why duckweed is invasive. I will give people this. Look at this, okay? I didn't put any duckweed in this pond. It's been slowly coming back over here, but I think that it's coming from that pond. And here's how I'm going to prove it to you guys, that it's not just like there's remnants of duckweed in this pond and that's how they're coming back. Look at this. I got this little weird pool over here. What's that right there? It's freaking duckweed, man. Somehow the duckweed either blew over here to this pool, or I think birds pick it up. I've seen like myself pick it up on my hair, on my arms, so maybe like bird feathers pick it up. And usually this pool over here will have a good number of duckweed in it too. Quite a bit of duckweed usually. So let's check that out. And then we can prove that it is somewhat invasive too at the same time. And look at that. A little bit of duckweed in there. You can't really tell that great because they're little ones, but see that right there? Those little green dots, little duckweeds. This thing filled back up faster than I expected. Pretty cool. I got like maples growing in here and stuff. A lot of the chunky stuff kind of floated up when it re-wetted down. So maybe I will be cleaning this out. I'm going to have to replace this liner and the filter if I want to use it as a pond. So we'll just see, guys. That was a pretty big point of my channel. I really wanted to do that, but I'm thinking I might end up just having to dig a pond, or either that or put in the money on that one. Because the bad thing is like, if I'm going to spend a bunch of money on that pond, then I almost feel as if I should dig a pond, because they're more stable. It's just more stable when you put it in the ground. The ground temperatures help a lot. I don't know. I feel like I might have some wild carrot growing here, guys. I'll have to figure out what that is to make sure that that's what it is. But if it is, I'm gonna snag some of those. But anyway, guys, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day on YouTube and enjoy yourselves. Give me a subscribe and a like, and I will hit you guys back up when I get the paludarium done. Should be done here soon. Waiting on a newt right now, and they still haven't ever messaged me back. So hopefully it comes soon, guys. Peace out.